All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out Rob Lucci, the new OP07 Lucci. So we will have a little bit of spoilers, a little bit of OP07 spoilers, and actually we'll also be looking at a spoiler from OP08. So I'm giving you guys a fair warning up front here, so that way you know some spoilers are coming. And just to give a quick layout of the video, we will be checking out some decks from the East. Then we're going to go from there into some games on the sim. I've got 5 games on the sim for you, featuring this leader. And then we will talk about the deck list that I'm using at the end, and we'll do some final thoughts, and we'll wrap it up like that. So you guys know what you're getting into. You've been warned. So definitely some spoilers today. Like I said, we're going to be checking out some OP07 cards and an OP08 card in the spoilers of this video. So fair warning. All right, guys, let's dive straight into this. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of different decks to kind of, just to kind of analyze and look over and break down, and a lot of games on the sim. So let's hop straight into this. So this leader, let's talk about the leader first so we can move on from there. It's a 5,000 power, 5 life leader, mono black. It can only run cards in the black card pool. When attacking, you may trash the top 2 cards of your deck. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost for this turn. Okay, so you've got cost reduction built into the leader. That's a big deal. And you have ways to mill yourself, right? And that's a big deal for any of the, a lot of the black card interactions have to deal with your trash. So that is very nice. Getting 2 cards in my trash every turn, yeah, that's excellent. We do want that. We actually do want that. Okay, now every now and then it will hit a card you would rather it not hit, like it might hit one of your 8-cost E-Shows or one of your 8-cost Gecko Morias. But check out what this guy did. We're about to go over this list. This guy added a Hogback to his list, which I think is very smart, and I've considered doing this before, and I think I've even mentioned it in previous videos. I think I was running in my Blue-Black Rebecca deck or something. Listen to what Hogback does. On play, return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, okay? And then put up to 1 Thriller Bark card other than Dr. Hogback from your trash to your hand. So you don't have to be a Thriller Bark leader to do this effect. And you can also get Dr. Hogback back from your trash with a card like Rebecca. So even if you mill this card early, or if you have to counter out with it early, no big deal. If your Gecko Morias get trashed for whatever reason, or they get KO'd off the field, not a big deal. You can go in the same turn, like if you have a 10-Dawn turn, you could play out Rebecca, grab back Hogback, and then, play out whatever 3-cost card from your hand if you choose to with the rest of Rebecca's effect. But then for 4 costs, you can play out this card and snag back your Gecko Moria to play on the following turn. You see what I'm saying? And then you still have 2 Dawn left for that turn to do whatever with. Excuse me. So really, really good stuff there. Okay, so I'm gonna blast through this list real quick, and then we will look at a few other lists and see try and find some similar cards. And I will say this, guys, I have covered Lucci in the past, and I will link the other video to that, and you can kind of compare and contrast if you want to, if you're really sold on running Rob Lucci, the leader. I did another video on this I think about a month ago, and you can kind of see how it's shifted, if you choose to, if you want to compare and contrast the videos and see how the meta's shifted since then. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So 3 Borsalinos, 3 Surus, 2 E-Shows, 3 Kaku, 3 Khalifa, 4 Spandam, 2 Sabo, 3 Rebecca, 3 Lucci, 4 Gecko Moria, 1 Hogback, 4 Brook, 2 Spandine, 2 Sabo, the 8-cost that KOs a 5 and a 3, 2 Kaku, 1 Stussy, 2 Ice Age, 1 Innie's Lobby, and 4 Tempest Kicks. So guys, do y'all see how this list, and by the way, this list we're looking at, this is a 2nd place 300 player Thailand event. It was a flagship. The only deck that beat it in the finals, I don't know about the only deck, but the deck that beat it in the finals was a red purple law. So that just goes to show this is a very solid list. And notice there are no 4-ubs except the cards that are of utmost importance. Like it's running 4 Spandam, the Searcher, 4 Gecko Moria, for obvious reasons. And then it's running 4 Brook, which is very surprising to me, but this does let you just, trash cards. So if you're going against the mirror match, right? If you're going against the mirror match where they have Sabos and Borsalinos, well, guess what? If you just attack with your leader, you're going to be able to put a 5 or less in the trash. That is very, very nice. No matter if it can't be KO'd or not, it doesn't matter. So that is a really nice effect there. What else? I feel like I got a little bit sidetracked. Oh, the other 4-up. The only other 4-up in the deck is Tempest Kick. Because, guys, this card, Tempest Kick, is CP's version of Great Eruption. And remember, whoever was designing the game decided that Great Eruption was so strong of a card that it needed to be banned. Because Great Eruption is banned in this format that we're looking at. This is OP07 in the East. you can't run Great Eruption. But remember, Great Eruption is a 1-cost draw card -2. This is a 1-cost draw card and then -3 if you have 10 or more cards in your trash. Well, let's not forget what the leader does. It's filling up our trash with 2 cards every turn. Early in the game, we can use these just to cycle cards, the Tempest Kicks, to fill up more trash. And then we're going to have other effects that put cards in the trash, like Sabo, the Searcher Spandam, all kinds of good stuff, right? And anything we counter out of, right? If we counter out of an attack, that's another card in our trash. So you would be surprised, guys, at how fast this card is turned on or, like, made to go online. Very good stuff here. It's running 2 Sabos. Some lists are running these and some are not, but I will say I think more people are starting to trend in the direction of this 8-cost Sabo because it's an 8-cost 9K. That's already like a very clean stat line that we can compete against any deck with, like even Black Yellow Luffy, who goes to 9,000 power base on the leader. Okay, no problem. This card can come into play and actually start challenging that. Excuse me, and that's without any Dawn, without any Dawn investment. It can start attacking into leader. And with a card like Brook, they can't hide behind their Sabos. Even if they just play them, it doesn't matter. You could attack one time with your leader. They're just going to ignore it because it's a 5K attack. And you're going to -1 to their Sabo. And then you're going to drop Brook on them. And then you're going to smash through for 9 plus whatever you had left for the turn. Or if you even want to add any more for the turn. Same idea with Stussy. This is just going to be able to help take out all the big characters. Whatever big characters that they have on their side of the field. This can just KO anything in the game. And this deck's running 2 Ice Ages. So this is going to be able to -5 to the cost of a character, and then another -1 from your leader. So you're going to be able to, if you get down, I'm surprised they don't run more stages. In the list we're looking at today on the sim, I run 4 stages, guys, and I just cycle them out later in the game with cards like Sabo. I'm just not even worried about it. Or even doubling up on a stage, because I can go, use the stage for the turn to -2, play a new stage on top of it to do another -2, swing and put -1 on my leader, and I've done -5 to a character. Really good stuff. But this guy was clearly building his deck for a specific reason. It looks like he was trying to be able to battle against Enel, Bonnie, and Black Yellow Luffy a little more than anything else. And the one deck that beat him in the finals was Red Purple Law. So I don't know. Red Purple Law is just a good deck anyway, so I'm not saying he wouldn't have won regardless. Or whoever these players were. I have no idea who these players were. But hopefully y'all see what I'm saying. Really good stuff here. And this is running, so 3 Kakus and 4 Brooks. So it's running 7 cards in the list, like 3 + 4, 7 cards in the list, that right on turn 3 should be able to start netting you value, right? Especially if you're going second. So really good stuff there, and just start moving characters off the board, like either trashing it with Brook or KOing it with Kaku. And this card, remember, for those who are not used to playing like any kind of like mono black decks or anything like that, make sure you recognize here that this card is not like Lucci. Lucci returns 3 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. This card can only target CP cards out of your trash. So make sure you do the math before you try to play out this character, right? Make sure you have enough CP cards in your trash to use this effect. And that might sound crazy, but guys, there are times where it does come up because this deck's running a lot of Navy cards and a lot of cards that are not CP, like Gecko Moria, Hogback, Sabo, the other Sabo, Brook. It's running a lot of cards that are not CP, so make sure you check that before you accidentally throw away a removal for the turn. Okay, so that's the first list we're going to look at. Whoops, let me sort by where's he at? OP07 Lucci. So the first list we looked at was this one right here, second place at a 300 player event. We're going to check out at least a few first place lists just to see how it's doing. Here's a 5-0 first place in Japan. Let's see how this one did. I can't remember which ones I did on the original video that I did, but I don't think it was this one. Whatever the case is, this list, guys, again, notice they are starting to mess with Sabo a lot more, it feels like. The card's good. It's a 2-for-1. Anytime. I mean, it's like the big version of Lucci, right? Lucci's a 4-cost 6K that can pop a 2 and a 1, whereas this is an 8-cost 9K that can pop a 5 and a 3. So it's almost like you get your early game board clear with Rob Lucci, and then you get your late game board clear with Sabo. And 5 cost is kind of the magic number right now because we're seeing a lot of the 5 cost, brothers, like whether it be the Yellow Ace, the Black Sabo. There's a lot of cards in the 5 spot that are very fun, that are very good targets to take out. And if you attack first with your leader, you can hit a 5 and a 4 or a 6 and a 3, however you need to do it. And again, if you have look, this guy's running 4 Innies lobbies. I completely agree with that decision. I think this card is incredible because we already know people were starting to swap over to Marineford or Navy HQ, whatever you want to call it, the stage for Navy. And that's just -1 a turn. Like, I get it, you know, it is a 1 cost and it has an on play to -1 and then an activate to -1, of course. But this one, guys, first of all, you might get lucky and trigger and play it right off the top of your life. That has happened. That has happened to me and, you know, many other people. But the thing is, -2 a turn, plus -1 on your leader, your Spandines, or excuse me, not Spandine, your Kakus can hit a 6 if you have that stage down, just by swinging with your leader and doing -2 with the stage. That can reach a lot, guys. That has a pretty big reach. He's running 2 Helmeppos. I really like this card because it just works so well with Gecko Moria. Gecko Moria getting back a Helmeppo for the 2-cost spot, and then anything else it needs to for the 4-cost spot. It can get a Lucci, because with Helmeppo, Lucci can hit something as big as a 5, and then +1 with the leader, it can hit a 6, +2 with the stage, it would be able to hit an 8 if you need it, if you had the stage and everything I just said. And, you know, mix and match those numbers however you need to hit the 2 targets. And then for the other option now, it has a whole other option. You don't just have to have Rob Lucci in your trash. Like, yeah, this is probably the best target to hit for your 4-cost character with Gecko Moria. But now you can actually hit Rebecca, and it really can go the distance, because you can then play a Brook out from the Rebecca, and you can hit something, just like I said. I mean, you'd be able to hit, if you attack first with your Rob Lucci, that's -1, -2 for the stage, so now we're at -3. Play out the Helmeppo, like we were already saying, for that would do -6, so this card would be able to hit a 7. This card would be able to hit a 7 or less for that combo I just said, and it would totally fill out your board with 4 characters: Gecko, Rebecca, Brook, and Helmeppo. Just a very, very strong synergy there, guys. It is very powerful. Spandine is nice for a multitude of reasons, and I like it. This guy's running only 2 of them. Number 1, you can actually use this to get your Lucci back with your Rebecca's effect, right? So you can actually go Gecko Moria, right, and then play out like Helmeppo, like we were saying, to do -3, and then play out, excuse me, Helmeppo for the 2-cost spot, obviously, Rebecca for the 4-cost spot, and with Rebecca's effect, grab back Spandine, who could, with him, you return 3 cards with CP and its types to the bottom of your deck in any order, and then you're going to be able to play out a 4-cost or lower character with CP and its types other than Spandine rested. So that will then get back Lucci, and now you're popping whatever you need to in that way, and that fills out the entire board. So for 8 Dawn, we're talking 8-cost Gecko Moria, 2-cost Helmeppo, 4-cost Rebecca, 3-cost Spandine, 4-cost Lucci. So for 8 Dawn, you're actually getting 4, 8, 10, 18, 21 Dawns worth in like a single, you know, crack, and you still have 2 Dawn left for the turn. Absolutely wild. And that is something that can happen, right? That is something that does happen in games, you'll see. Now, one thing to take note of, again, Spandine is like Kaku, where you have to grab back CP cards from your trash, the CP type cards. And if you do the interaction we just said, think about how many cards you just pulled out of your trash. Like, you do have to make sure you have a lot of cards in your trash for this, because with Gecko Moria is going to grab back a Helmeppo and a Rebecca from the trash. So that's 2 cards. And then Rebecca's probably going to grab back the Spandine, and Spandine's going to grab back the Lucci. So that's 4 cards from your trash, and then plus the 6 you have to get between Lucci and Spandine. So that's 10 cards coming out of your trash in 1 turn from that one little activation there. It is kind of a, you know, a technical combo. Excuse me. But think about it. If you're swinging in for 1 with the leader to get, or excuse me, if you're swinging with the leader to give -1, you're getting -3 from Helmeppo, and you're getting -2 for Innie's Lobby. Guys, you're going to be able to hit almost just about anything you want to, especially if you combo it with something like a Tempest Kick. You're going to be able to hit literally whatever you want to on the board. That is a very, very powerful combination. Okay, so that list is pretty good. Everything else is pretty much the same on here. This list is a little bit cleaner than the last one we looked at, and the only big difference that this deck is running is it's running the 5-cost Monkey D. Luffy from OP07. It's a 5-cost 6k, 1k counter, and listen to this effect, guys. It's like this deck's version of Brook. When attacking, trash up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. So whenever this card attacks, I'm not going to read the rest if you want to, guys. It's not relevant at all. But the big part about this card is it is allowing you to get rid of these cards that are un-KOable. Cards like Borsellino, cards like Fukuro, even though no one runs that anymore. Cards like Sabo. This can trash the card. So it doesn't KO it. It gets around cards that cannot be KO'd. This is a very nice card. And it's a 5-cost 6k. It's, you know, he's only running 1 of them, but it's a 5-cost 6k. Very solid stuff here. And this guy's running the 3-cost Brook instead of the 6-cost Brook. And I do agree with that too, guys. The list you'll see from me today, I am running the 3-cost Brook. I think this card is extremely, extremely good. Okay, now we'll check out one more list. Let's just look at the most current list that got a first place at a flagship here. We'll check this one out. I don't know how many players were at it. It does not say. This was in Singapore. But this list, guys, it is running 2 E-shows. It's got 1 Helmeppo, 4 Surus. Actually, I'm not going to read through the whole thing, guys. Sorry. But it's running pretty much all. It's running all the usual suspects, right? And this one is not running the 8-cost Sabo. And I think you kind of have to make your decision. Do you want to run E-show or do you want to run the Sabo, the 8-cost Sabo, right? And honestly, I think I kind of like the 8-cost Sabo the more I was looking at it. And after doing the play testing that I was doing that we're going to see today, I do like the 8-cost Sabo a lot, but I was not playing it. And I do think that will be one of the adjustments I will talk about at the end of the video of what I would do to change the deck and to take it to the next level. Okay, but this one's running the 3-cost Brook and the 6-cost Brook. It's running 2 Stussies. It's running the Gecko Morias. Like I said, everything else is about the same. This one's not running Ice Age, but it is running 3 Innies Lobbies and 4 of the Tempest Kicks. It's running the Kakus. For those who don't know what this card is, this is an OP07 card. It's a 4-cost 5K, 2K counter. On play, return 2 cards with CP in their types to the bottom of your deck, and then -3 to the for the turn to a character. So it's an on-play -3 cost, and it's a 4-cost 5K body. This card has incredible utility, and you're actually going to see this card come up quite a bit in my games today. And on top of that, like I said, you return 2 cards with the type including CP from your trash to the bottom of your deck. Okay. All right, but everything else looks about the same, guys. And if you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. I try to get to those as soon as I can. All right, we're going to look at one more thing. We got a spoiler warning here. OP08 spoiler warning. There it is, guys. Check this out. Check this out, guys. Silver's Rayleigh, 8-cost 8K coming out in OP08. I can't read this, the Japanese, obviously, but I'll tell you what the card does. It has an on-play effect that gives -3,000 to one of your opponent's characters and -2,000 to another one of your opponent's characters for the turn, okay, or for the until the end of their next turn. So like it's like, you know, they're stuck at that even on their turn if they survive, and then he can pop a 3,000 character or less, a 3,000 powered character or less. So on play he can hit a 6K character, and then another character will be -2,000 for an entire turn. You know what I mean? So this card, very solid. But check out this manga, guys. For those who are not aware, for those who are like new to the channel or who just don't know, I do not collect any alt arts at all. Any alt arts that I get from a set, I sell those immediately or trade up for them, right? Or not trade up, but just trade for them for cards that I actually need from the set. That's just the way that I try to maintain my hobby and not spend too much. But I might have to make an exception for Rayleigh. Might have to make an exception. This is my favorite character for those who are not aware, and very, very excited about this card. I'm not going to go into huge detail on this card, but I was not head over heels about it when it first came out, but now we're starting to see some play testing of it in Red Purple Law and in other decks too. I think I've seen it be play tested in Red Blue Marco from OP08 and maybe a few other decks I can't think of, but Red Purple Law looks very nice with it, and so does Red Blue Marco. So we'll follow this card as it comes out in the future. Good stuff there. Okay, on to the games. All right, let me go and blow up these. The player here. First game is going to be against Boa Hancock. Make sure we're lined up. There we go. Let me hit play. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x, and we're good to go, guys. Okay. So this deck, I have to say, while I'm getting set up here, I get a very nice turn 1 Innies Lobby. You know, I'm on the draw, so I get to go second. So that was just a perfect turn 1 play for me, and I'm really set now. And that Brook card, guy, I am surprised they're not running 4 Brooks. I'm running 4 Brooks. We'll look at my list at the end, and maybe going down to 3 is the right call. But I'm never unhappy to see this card Brook in my hand, especially if I get the lobby down on turn 1, because I just popped his card for free, and now I have a character on the board for him to have to worry about, and I'm attacking face, right? Like it's just so nice. But I will say, guys, this deck has been so fun to play. This is probably, I haven't felt this much control in a deck, like being able to just wipe out any card that I want on their board every single turn since Sakazuki, since I played Blue-Black Sakazuki. So there you go. He played out that card. Well, I have on board what I need to take him out. I was able to, you know, oops, sorry guys, it's going really fast. Hang on one second. Okay, so he had a 4-cost Crocodile on the board. You can see it in his trash right now. So what I did there was -2 with a lobby, attack -1 with my character, and then attack with Brooke, who does -1, and then pops a 0 or less, right? So that was -4 altogether. I could pop that card, no problem. I've swung in for 2 attacks. And then the way, for those who are not aware about how Boa Hancock kind of, you know, how the deck plays, it depends on what version. There is a version that's way heavier into the 7 Warlords of the Sea stuff. But then there's versions that are kind of more geared about, you know, they're more geared into just straight removal and then dropping, you know, huge characters throughout the, you know, by the end of the game. So I play out my Rob Lucci and my Spandam aggressively here. Spandam, of course, just to get a search off. But that Rob Lucci I played without KOing anything. I just want a beater on the board and keep the pressure on my opponent. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Now we're caught up. Now, he does Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. That's fine. You know, that was expected, to be honest. I had a feeling that was coming, but it's okay. I forced him into that, and now that's his entire turn. So there is a payoff to that. I'm still attacking this guy twice, getting 2 cards out of hand, bare minimum, or a card out of life. And then I'm going to play another Rob Lucci, because I don't think this guy is going to play anything small. Okay, he's on 9 Dawn this turn. Let's see what he does. I think this is the deck. I could be wrong. I played against 2 Boas we're going to be looking at on the sim. And one of them was playing Dracula Mihawk, the 9 cost. Okay, but it's clearly not this turn. So he's swinging for 10. I'm not countering out of this, but I have a feeling he's about to hit me with a pudding. I'm like, oh, well, you know, there's nothing I can do. Just counter out. I could have countered out aggressively, but then if he still hit me with it, you know, I go down to 5 anyway. I don't know. I guess I could have saved a life like that, but I couldn't actually fully counter out of it anyway, I don't think. Okay, so he plays out the pudding. I'm not worried about it at all. I can actually easily get this card off the board if I want to, because I have a Brook in hand and a way to get -4 cost. So swing 6, -1 to the character. And he's going to 1k to counter out of that. So he understands what kind of pressure is on him. So right here, I have to make a decision between playing out Brook or Lucci. I play out the Lucci because either one can KO the pudding. That's not an issue. But I'd rather get the bigger body in this case as opposed to the consistent KO. Okay, and then the Spandam was nice as well because now that helps refill my hand, helps refill my trash. He's going to swing 5 into 2. You can have it. And he plays out the big boy Kaido. But here's the problem. I've got some cards on the board right now that are pretty aggressive, right? Like these are cards he has to deal with or he's losing 2Ks every attack. Swing 6, swing 5. And then I play out the Spandam, and I pop my own Spandam to pop his 10 cost, and I'm feeling very good about this game, right? Like, this game feels like it's in the bag for me, like I just can't lose. Okay, then he plays out that Kaido. Now I know the game's over. I've talked about this card before. I know people probably get annoyed. But I honestly think, hear me out, and, you know, let's not take this the wrong way, but I honestly feel like that 10 cost Kaido card is almost a win more card. Because, okay, I just attacked 2 times, and there goes 2 of the 4 cards he just drew, and I haven't played a single card this entire turn. I have not done anything this entire turn yet. Okay, we're going to swing 5. Let's see what he gives me. Gives me another one. So there's 3 of the 4 cards that he drew, and I'm still just going to pop this card. You know, I'm gonna put that on there, play out the Kaku, return the cards I need, KO 3 or less, swing it in for 9. He just wasted his whole turn, you know. And like I said, hey, if he was in a better position, like a lot of people might be thinking, well, it's like, yeah, but like he was in a bad position, that's why he had to play that card. It's like, yeah, but if he was in a better position and played that card, then he just keeps winning, right? So that's why I kind of see it as like a win more card personally. I don't know. I know a lot of people disagree with that. Not trying to fight over it. I still think it's a very good card. But, like, you see I had the 10 cost Kaido there. He could have bounced 2 of my cards off the board. I feel like that would have helped him go further in the game. But who knows? Maybe he was just never winning that. He did have 8K encounter in hand. Okay. That's it for that one. Let's go on to the next one. So that was Boa Hancock. And I think I have another Boa up next here. Right here. Okay. Yep. This is a totally different game here. There we go. Oh, let me put on 2x speed. All right. There we go. We're good to go. So one thing that I do is I actually mulligan aggressively to go for the stage. If I don't get the stage, it's whatever. But I'm not even mulliganing for a Spandam. I'm actually mulliganing for the stage because you can't search up the stage with Spandam. For whatever reason, Spandam, first of all, he's leader locked to CP leaders. That makes no sense, but it is what it is. He is locked to CP leaders, and he can only grab CP cards. Innie's lobby is world government type. So that's very odd. I don't know why they would do that, but, you know, I guess it's fine. It is a very, very powerful card. And I'm sure it has like lore reasons. Please don't explain to me. I'm just saying, you know, I know sometimes I'll have questions where like, I don't know why they do that. And someone comes in with like a lore answer. Just understand, I'm talking about things from like a balance standpoint. I understand there's probably some lore reason behind it. Okay, so he swings in for 7. I can block with my 6K and just do a 2K counter to get out of that. Plays out Jinbei, which plays out Edward Weevil. He's got a lot of cards in hand here, so I know he can get out of pretty much whatever he wants to, but I still have to start poking at his hand. Next turn, I think he'll be on 7 or 8 Dawn, so I do have to worry about Gravity Blade Raging Tiger here, but at the same time, I can't just not play cards out, right? I mean, you can only play around something so much, right? You can only play around something to a certain extent. But because I expect Gravity Blade Raging Tiger to be played next turn, I am swinging aggressively here with my Sabo. Just in case, because either way, if he attacks into it, like say he doesn't play out Gravity Blade, that's fine as well, right? Like I'm completely fine with that if he attacks into my guy, because then he at least worked as a blocker. Plays out Boa Hancock. That is not as good for sure. Now, he did get lucky. I had no 2K counters. I could have done a 1K. I don't think I do. Do I? I might save this card here. I do. Excuse me. I didn't have a 2K counter, so I had to do a double 1K there to get out of it. But here's the thing. -3 to his guy because of... What did I put? I don't know what I just played there. I'm sorry, guys. Let me go back real quick. All right, let me go back just a little bit. Oh, Tempest. I was going to say, how'd that happen? So Tempest kick to -3 and draw a card on the Boa. Swing 5, -1 more. Snatches at 4. I have my Innie's Lobby that I'm going to be able to play out. And guys, oh, I think this is the game where I make a slight mistake. Watch this, guys. Yeah, I think I make a mistake here. I forgot to do the Innie's Lobby first. And I'm like, oh no, I just totally messed that up. But I still have 3 Dawn left, luckily. So I can still do it like this, but that was an actual play mistake. I did not mean to do that. Because I was going to swing 9 with Sabo. I don't think it would matter that much, but I think you guys see what I'm saying. Okay, so he bottom decks one of my cards there. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Lucci with the Dracula Mihawk. And he's got a pretty big body on the board, but I think I can deal with it. So swing 5 at the leader, -1 to your Dracula Mihawk. I've got 3 more minuses coming from my leader in my Innie's Lobby. So now he's at 7, then he'll be at 6. Now I just have to get -2 more, and I play out that new Kaku 2K counter. Guys, I'm a big fan of that card. I think that card is really nice, because I just put down a 5K body, right? So now it's like, okay, even if you Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, oh, he got lucky there and got a trigger, by the way. He got a trigger to get rid of that card with a Red Rock. But now it's like I filled out the board so much, I have all these extra threats. I'm a big fan of that 4-cost 5K Kaku 2K counter. Really nice, and it's a -3 on play. Combos really nicely with my Brook and with Kaku, and Lucci technically as well, of course. Okay, so swing 7. I'm trying to start threatening the board here, trying to do what I need to. I throw out 2 Innie's Lobbies, play this out so that way I can just pop it without using the Lucci. I probably should have used the Lucci there just to fill out the board more. I don't know. It's a tough call. Maybe I could have done things differently. It's hard to say. But I know one thing is for sure. It's a good thing I still have my Lucci now, because now I can just, you know, start popping cards that are in my way. And I think he plays out 3 blockers here. Yeah. So he plays out double Doflamingo here and the new Amazon Lily card that draws a card. That is a nice blocker. I have to say, that new blocker in the middle, the girl with the bow and arrow, it's a 3-cost 2K blocker, on play, draw a card. That is just an incredibly solid card. Okay, so I swing 7. I have to get -1 on a target. I go ahead and play out, yeah, right here, I was really tempted to just go next turn and, like, play out the Gecko, but it's like, no, we're just going to pop these guys. And he actually left. I didn't know if I could win or not there, but his hand was bricked up, so my 6K attack would have connected after I KO'd both of the Doflamingos. And playing out that Khalifa is nice, too, guys. That's like a miniature version of the Kaku play we were just talking about, and they're both 2K counters. Man, those new 2K counters for CP, I mean, Khalifa's not new, but that new 2K counter for CP is excellent. Really good stuff there. Okay, so that was the last one for Boa. So moving on from there, I've got 2 games of Enel, and then I've got a Perona game. Okay, let me blow this up. The volume is off, speed's on 2x, and we're good to go. So, Enel. Enel is an interesting matchup now, because a lot of Enels, they don't attack you now. They just start. Like, look at this. I have 5 life. He's not attacking. Like, he got to go first and everything. He is just choosing not to attack me, so that we can get full value from his Gadatsus and his Raigos, or Kingdom Come is what we're calling it on the English stuff. But at the same time, I still have to play something out, right? I still need to do something with the board and at least force my opponent to be honest, because he has to use these cards at some point. Like, I'd rather him use them on my cards that don't matter as much, my lower cost cards. especially like Brooke that I can just get back with my Rebecca's. Okay, so right here I just played the card out, and that's it. I couldn't actually KO what I had going on there. Looking back, what I should have done there, I think, is at least use one Tempest Kick to draw a card, even though I don't have 10 cards in my trash yet, just to draw a card. Okay, so I go ahead and counter out here. I'd like to keep my blocker, and he plays out the 7-cost Enel. This list has I haven't seen a lot of Enel lists that run the 7-cost Enel, but this one did, and it was pretty good. It wasn't bad. It was all right. I still don't think it's like a great card for what you're trying to do. It kind of contradicts what you're trying to do, right? Like what I was just saying. They want to starve you and then be able to pop cards based off how much life is on the board. But then Enel says, okay, now we're just going to scrap that idea and just go all aggressive. I don't know. It seems kind of weird. Okay. So right here, I go ahead and play out my Gecko Moria. I was able to -5 that Gadatsu and pop it with the Rebecca Brooke combo and Suru from the 2-cost or lower spot from Gecko. He pops, I think he Rygo'd my Gecko Moria to go down to 1 life. Let's check real quick. I'm sorry, guys. I hate to go backwards. Okay, yep, he did that, and he lost a life card, and it was a Kikanojo, so that probably hurt pretty bad for him. I bet he did not want that, but it is what it is. Now, right here, I really am going to try to get this Enel off the board. I don't want this card on the board. So I swing 7 into him. I give him -1. He 2K counters out. Okay, Tempest Kick is online now. -3. I get to draw a card. I get a Khalifa. -2 more from the stage. And now I'm going, what is this, like 11 into him and popping him with the Brook. So I popped him. He saved it. I don't think he realized that the Brook also KO'd it, because otherwise I don't think he would have taken a life. He'd have just let the card get KO'd. But who knows? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. So right there, he's going to swing 6 into my Brook. I was really thinking about saving it, but it's like, no, I shouldn't, because I already saw the Enel. Then he comes in with a 5-cost 7K ace. It's like, okay, I'm really glad I didn't save it now. But who knows? It'd probably been the same amount of counter power, and he had to swing into it. It came out to about the same if he had attacked it with the ace. Okay. So right here, he plays out the Kikanojo. It's my turn. I need to get these cards off the board. I'm thinking it's time for a Lucci plus Tempest Kick. That Tempest Kick card is insanely good, guys. So I'm going to attack. I'm not attacking into his life. I attack 5 into his ace so that he can't cycle his life card. So I attack into him -1. That card's at 1 now. That card's at 2. You know what's coming. We're going to play out Lucci here. And unfortunately, I just don't have a 2-cost card to grab other than Suru. I didn't get any Spandams. But that's fine. I still have a body on the board I can pop later with Stussy if it survives. And he's going to swing 7 into life. I go ahead and take this one. He plays out the Katakuri, bouncing back my Gecko Moria. Very solid play. I swing in for 5, -1. And guys, I'm just going to try to remove stuff nonstop, right? I mean, that's the strategy. That's the plan, right? Okay, so right here, I swing 5. He does take it because, he's got 1 life left. And I think he took it. I just totally lost track of what he did there. But I do -3 on him. I play out that new Kaku. There it is again, guys. He was like an all-star of my night playing, because I recorded this last night. And then play out the other Kaku. That's like this great combo to take out any 6-cost character, and then plus another 3 from what I have on the board. Okay, so he swings in for 10. I take that. Swing 5 at leader. I've got a lot of bodies now that I can attack with, right? I've got some decent stuff I can attack with. I need to attack my leader so that I can get the when attacking cost off in case he hits a beige. Okay, swing 6. Let's see what he gives me. Okay, so now I'm going to play out the Stussy. I'm going to pop that guy. And I don't want to, he can still use his leader effect, so I'm not going to swing with the Kaku. Swings 5, plays out another ace. Y'all see how this game's going. I take that. Oh, what do you know? There's another Kaku, right? And I do also have ways to defend this turn, and he just quits right there, unfortunately. So I guess he was admitting defeat there, or maybe he just got tired of me just popping a character every single turn. So that turn, what I was going to do was going to be, let me see, look at the board down here. Oh, this turn, I think I was just going to swing all out for just literally 5, 5, 6, 6, 9. And I was going to play out a Rebecca plus a Sabo and just bunker down and say, okay, I'm going to force you to be able to get through 2 blockers that cannot be KO'd and 1 life with only 2 cards on the board. Now, we see he would have gotten the Enel and the, and what is that, ace? Yeah, he would have gotten a 10-cost ace. But that still doesn't do it, right? Because I use 1 blocker, I use another blocker, and then I take the last one in life. Or I can counter out of the Enel if he only swings for 5. So, it puts him in this predicament where it's like, how are you going to survive the next turn then? Because even if he starts going for my board, it doesn't matter because I got the 2 blockers and then the 1K counter to get out of whatever. So he was in a situation where he was like, okay, I guess the game's over. Really good game there. That was a fun one. These Enel games, I got one more Enel game for us. These Enel games are super long, guys, because, I mean, there's just a lot of life gaining going on, lots of, you know, turtling, you know, and for those who don't know, they call it turtling when you, like, go onto defense. You're trying to, like, get behind a shell that can protect you. That's the idea. You're bunkering up. Okay, so there we go. Get the stage. Like I said, I aggressively mulligan for the stage, guys. It is the most important. That card, in my personal opinion, at least the way that I'm playing it and the way that I'm building the deck, that is the most important card is that stage. Because being able to do -3, just period, like from the get-go, is massive. So right here, I go ahead and play out a Spandam. Swing for 5. I got 4 costs left here. And I play out the Rebecca. Go ahead and snag a Kaku out of the trash. And then I play out the Brook with this effect. I'm just trying to give him stuff to attack into. That's fine. Because I'm just going to get it back later with cards like Rebecca or cards like, what's his name? Gecko Moria. I let him have it. He had 5 Dawn left. He was going to pop whatever I didn't block with. It was fine. I mean, I could have aggressively countered out. That would probably be the next best bet. But then I lose two cards from hand. I'm just not worried about it like that. Especially when I knew this turn I was just going to be able to use Kaku to get rid of the Gidatsu. Okay, returns those 2 events. Pop that card. And now I've got a 5 cost 6K. Which he can pop with another Gidatsu if he hasn't, you know, very easily. Now he does Flampy to draw some cards here. I think he does double Flampy here if I remember correctly. And, yeah, I like that. I'm not going to lie, I do like that because now he just has so many cards. Now, if I had an Isho right here, I could have really punished him. But you guys, you'll see my list. I don't believe I'm running Isho. I don't think I'm actually running Ishos in this list. I think I'm running 4 Gecko Morias and then 2 of the Stussies and then just pure cost reduction in KO. Not saying my list is the best or anything, but it's what I've been having a lot of success with. Okay, so I swing 5. He takes it. So he takes his first hit there, gets very lucky, and gets a Raigo off the top or Kingdom Come. So it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm going to go ahead and, you know, pop this guy for him. Or I think I do. I can't remember exactly. Yeah. Oh, I have Gecko Moria. Excuse me. Yeah. So I can play out the... That combo is so nice, guys. I can play out the Rebecca and grab a 1-cost card. In this case, it was Suru. The Rebecca can then play out the Brook to pop his guy there. Just massive. Just a massive high-value play there. Gecko Moria is just so good, guys. I'm hoping he attacks 1 into 0. He can have that card. I'm really hoping the card doesn't get banned, but I would not be surprised. I'm not saying this is going to happen or suggesting it should. I'm just saying that I would not be surprised if Gecko Moria got restricted in the future. You know, that's all I'm saying. The card is very good, and I'm not hoping for that. I'm just saying it would not surprise me if that were to happen. Okay, so he plays out Yamato there to pop one of my guys, and then I still have Gecko Moria this turn. I'm going to pop his Yamato with my Stussy, and I'm not going to swing for 9 because there's no reason to, because he did not take the first hit, if I remember correctly. Or maybe he did. I might have just got confused there, but I don't think he took the first hit. Okay, so he Kingdom Come to pop. He did a Kingdom Come there to pop my Stussy. Now he has 4 Dawn left to play out like maybe a Kikinojo or swing for 9 or Nami swing for 7. I'm not going to let him have that. I've got 2. I have, what was that, 2, 4. I had 6K in counter. I'm going to give him 3K right there because I don't want to lose cards from my life like that. I will lose a card from life if I get to draw it, but not in the other way around. So right here, I am trying to get through cards in my hand so that I have answers to deal with characters on the board here. So swing 5. Let's see what he does. If he takes it, I'll swing with my Gecko Moria. He does take it. So now I'm going to try to get him down to 0. So swing for 11 into 5. That's probably going through. And now he has no life cards. Now he has to play an Ace or a Yamato. He pretty much doesn't have a choice. You just have to do it. Okay, and he's going to swing for 7. So that means it's probably going to be a Katakuri. Yeah. So he does that, puts back the Nami. I'm very confused by, like, I'm perplexed by what he does here. So here's what I do. I swing for 5 into 5. And I'm like, okay, why didn't he let the Nami pop the other one? I'm so confused. But it's not really a big deal. I'm going to take care of it either way here. I'm just doing a little bit of math in my head, seeing how I want to take care of this. Because there's a few different things I could do here. Swing 5. And I'm like, what? How is he not KOing my card? I'm so confused. So now it's like, okay, well, I'm going to KO the one, or trash the one that's tapped. KO your guy and just not swing with my Gecko Moria now. Right? He plays out another Yamato, KOs my Khalifa, and he's gained a life. So right here, those Khalifas were really nice, by the way. They let me cycle through my deck. And look at that. I unfortunately trashed a Gecko Moria there. If I were to make some revisions, I think I will add like 1 or 2 hogbacks to the deck so that I can use Rebecca to snag back the hogbacks to snag back the Gecko Morias. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So right there, the Kaku into Kaku combo where you can hit like a 9 cost. If you have Any's Lobby down and your leader, your leader effect and the Kaku, the double Kaku combo in hand, you can hit a 9 or less. It's just so powerful. Okay, so he swings 6 here. I have to go ahead and take this. I don't have like great counter power in hand. Right here, I'm just checking through my trash. I actually have only 13 cards left in my deck. So I have to be really careful about using my leader effect anymore. It's becoming very dangerous at this point in the game. Okay. So right here, I'm just trying to decide what's the best course of action to win this game. I put 3 on my leader, swing 8 into him, see if I can get a double 2K counter. And I do. I get a double 2K counter. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm actually very happy with that. So now I'm going to swing for 9. I probably could have swung for 7 there, to be honest, after getting a double 2K. It goes through. Swing for 9. He's going to be able to pop the Kaku right here. And then from there, I should be able to take him down to 0 life again and establish a blocker to slow him down. Because then he'll have to make the decision. Do I want to go for his board or do I want to gain life and try to get a blocker down? So, like I said, pops the Kaku there. I'm going to swing for 9 after he replaces this life. It should go through, 9 into 5. If not, he'll have nothing left in hand, and that's fine. Does not get a trigger. I play out Rebecca, and now I need to get a card, like probably a 2K counter or some type of removal. I go ahead and do that. Pop his Flampe off the board there with my Brook interaction. Okay, and right here, it's like, no, I think we're getting close to winning the game next turn. That's what's going through my head right here, is like, I think we're getting close to winning the game next turn. I let it go. Now, so he's going to play a 10-cost character, right? That's obviously what he's lining up for. I'm countering out of that. I'm keeping my blocker. If he swings 10 into my guy, perfect. 2K counter. I still retain my blocker, and now it's time to go face. Okay, so right here, I was going to say, I think I should go like 11, 11, and then I'll have, what, 11. Yeah, it should just be like 3 11s. So maybe try to do like a 9, 11, 13 or something like that. Maybe that's the best course of action. Or I could battle for the board is the safe bet. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's quite a few ways this can go. But it's like, all right, let me poke for 9 first and see what happens here. Okay. If he counters out, I'm going for his board. Okay, he counters out, right? So right here, or I could still go for game. No, excuse me, no, I couldn't. So 11 into 9 here. Does he have a 2K, 1K he can give me? Now right here, I'm like, I'm all in on this character. Let's see what he has. He can't defend it. It's his turn. I have 2 life. Pause. Whoops, let me get... This is a pretty much an unwinnable position for him at this point. Like, yes, he could play behind his Shirahoshi if he wants to, but next turn I'm going to have all these attacks coming his way. So, good stuff there. If you can weather the storm on an L, you can definitely win those games. Really good stuff there. That was a fun game. Long game, too. Okay, last game we got against Perona. Perona is a really strong deck right now, guys, I have to say. In OP07, this was not a deck that I expected to be good, but the little Land of Wano version that it got is like excellent stuff there. Okay, so he starts off with Momonosuke. He's going to swing 5 into my leader with his. I'm going to 1K counter out. It's nice to have Helmeppo in the trash this early, so I know I can combo it later with my Gecko Moria to get bigger and bigger targets. Now, my hand is not great, though. Let's just call it what it is. This is not an ideal hand right here. So, but then I get a Spandam, which is nice. That, you know, top 3 search, we will take that. I can only get the Tempest Kick or the Spandine. I play out the Tempest Kick just to draw a card. I get the Lucci. I'm going to swing 5 into his 0. He's not going to defend that. And now it's his turn. I've got 2 1-cost 2Ks on the board. I've got a little bit to work with now. This guy is just drawing, which is what this deck does. This deck just draws like crazy. He gets that card down. You know, not ideal for me. I actually don't, because I don't have the stage, everything is worse than it should be. The stage is so massive, guys, because if I have the stage down, this card is dead, right? This card is just gone. But I don't have it, so I'm going to have to find another way to deal with this double attack banish character on the board. Now, luckily, I do have 8,000 counter power in hand, right? So there is that going for me. I swing 6 in a leader. He gives me a 2K counter. I play out a Rob Lucci just blank because I need to play something out here. He pops it with Ryuma. He's going to swing now for the rest with his Yamato, 2K and a 2K, and I'm fine. I put a Khalifa and a Kaku into the trash so that way I have both options available for me when I play out my Gecko Moria. So right here, now unfortunately I can't pop both of them. Again, if I had the stage, I could pop both of them right now with Gecko Moria and what's in the trash, but I can't. So I attack 5 into that. He gives me a 1k counter, obviously. Play out Gecko Moria. I'm getting back Helmeppo, Rob Lucci, and that card is gone. That Yamato is going away because it's just too strong. Now, like I said, I couldn't pop the what's his name, the Ryuma as well because I didn't have the stage, but that's fine. He can have the attacks with Ryuma. I'm okay with that. But the double attack banish, no, we can't. We can't deal with that. We cannot deal with that. Okay, so he plays out Gecko Moria here. Let's see who does. This game had a weird ending. I'm sorry, guys, if it's the game I'm thinking of. Okay, plays out, does a top 5 search there with Otama, has the Hiyori, swings 7 into 6. I've got 2Ks for... This game I had 2Ks for days. I'm not letting him have that. And, oh, what do you know? I've got another Lucci Helmeppo combo coming from the trash because he KO'd my Helmeppo with his Perona. So right here... First, I'm going to do a top search. End up getting a Stussy. I swing 9 into Ryuma, so he can't take out my Lucci. And this turn just goes, you know, very south for him, I think, if I remember correctly. It's like, okay, since I got the Stussy, it's like I'm actually just going to pop your Gecko Moria. I'm taking every card off the board where now you can't even do your, you can be my Samurai. And, yeah, this game's looking very grim for my opponent. And in the Black Mirror matches, this is typically how it goes, where it's like whoever can establish, like, multiple 8-cost or higher characters on the board, that's when you start seeing them win. Okay, let me pause. He just gives up. He can't play any of these cards in his hand. His hand is dead. His best bet this turn, which I think he still should have done, was just load up 5 on his, because he had 5 Dawn left. He could have loaded up 5 on his, Perona, and either smash into my, Lucci or my Gecko Moria or face. Smashing into Gecko Moria would have been too dangerous, and I could have actually gotten out of it easily. Just 1 2k counter would have got me out of it. But if he attacks into my Lucci and does the safe play there, he can just, you know, take out my Lucci and then take my next 2 hits from my 2 big characters and keep going about the game that way. Because look at what was coming from his life, guys. He had a and remember, excuse me, I can't KO anything on the board because he used Sabo that turn. So this turn he could have gotten a You Can Be My Samurai and this Mountain King guy, Yamasan or whatever his name is, from his life. And then he'd have drawn a 4-cost Borsellino the following turn. And then he could have used the You Can Be My Samurai. The game was not over. This guy just gave up. Cause I mean, don't get me wrong. It was going to be a very uphill battle from there because I had another Gecko Moria coming down the next turn if I needed, or I was drawing into a Kaku. I had a lot of options. But hopefully you guys get what I'm trying to say. Like, the game was definitely not over, but my opponent just kind of saved himself some time instead of trying to climb out of this deep dark hole he's in. All right, good stuff. Good game there to all my opponents. And now let's go ahead and check out the build. Move my face before I forget. So here it is, guys. This is the build I was running. Feel free to copy this or make revisions to it, but it felt pretty strong. The one thing that I would like to add to the deck is, like I said, like maybe go down 1, I don't know. I say every time I think of like going down 1 Stussy, I don't know about that. This card is so good, guys. Just being able to like have a, you know, I have 2 Surus, I have 4 Spandams, and even these other cards like Helmeppo or whatever, like these little fodder characters, these little trash characters that are like, you know, they don't mean anything to me. Being able to play out my Stussy and exchange those. It's like I'm giving up that card, sacrificing that card to pop one of their big guys. I don't know if I will ever go under 2 of these. Now, I can see going down to 2, you know, or maybe going down to 1, maybe, but I like having 2 of these. But I would like to try out the 8-cost Sabo next. For those who are wondering why I'm running 4 Brook, I think the card's that good. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Being able to establish early board control with this card, and it's a 1k counter. Like, I'm never afraid to just trash this card, right? I'm never afraid, like, oh, he's swinging for 5. Okay, I'll just put this in the trash with Brooke because I'm going to get it back later with Rebecca. And then once that combo gets destroyed, like from whatever they do, well, I'm just going to get it back with Gecko Moria. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense, but I just think it's extremely, extremely good. Some other cards to consider. And we saw them in other lists. You know, Borsellino is just kind of a go-to card for black. It's just like a staple black blocker. It goes well with Gecko Moria. You know, it has tons of synergy there. But I will say this. I never felt like I needed this card because I have the Sabos and the Rebeccas. Like, I feel like that is a strong enough combo as is. And I'm also not afraid to see this go into my trash because on the turns I need to be super defensive, I can just go Rebecca, get back Sabo, and then play out the Sabo and protect my Rebecca. Like, that is a match made in heaven. The Sabo Rebecca synergy is a match made in heaven. The double Kaku, this one, you know, this combo, the 4-cost 5k 2k counters Kaku that does -3, and the 5-cost one that can KO a 3 or less. That plus the leader and stage, again, a match made in heaven. And there's even like a poor man's version of it with this Helmeppo you can do, where you can just hit, you know, think of it like this: without the leader and the stage, that double combo of either, you know, the 2k counter Kaku or the 2-cost Helmeppo, you're hitting a 6 or less. If you add the stage, you're hitting an 8 or less. If you add the leader, you're hitting a 9 or less. You're hitting pretty much anything in the game. And anything in the game you can't hit, you could just hit with Stussy. Or you can combo it with a Tempest Kick and hit whatever else you need. This card, Kaku, was absolutely incredible. I can see where the 6-cost Brook could be very good as well. I could definitely see that being added into the list as maybe like a 2 of or something like that. But it's hard. It's very hard to cut cards in this deck, I have to say. Kudos to that guy who just ran like everything as a 3 of, because that way you can fit everything, but you have like a lower, you know, the deck starts to lose a little bit of consistency, I feel like, at that point. But I mean, I don't know. He got second place in a 300-player tournament, so it must be pretty good. And it's all because of this leader's effect. These cards that fix your hand, like Spandam, and the cards that keep recurring stuff from the trash with Gecko Moria. Just incredible. Just absolutely incredible. But yeah, Isho is a card to try out at some point. I do think this does have a place in the deck, or at least something you could try. 2k counters, I think you could probably go down to 3 of this 4-cost Kaku and go up a 3rd Suru. Like, that's probably something you could do right away. But the other 2k counter Khalifa, I don't know. I really like this one because this one is just a nice way. I feel like this card single-handedly won me the game against Enel. I think it was the second game where I played out like 2 Khalifas to cycle through 4 cards. The -2 didn't really matter, but like just being able to cycle through that many cards is a really big deal. It's a really nice effect to have, but I don't know if it's as good as like what this card's doing either. So you'll have to take your pick. Let me just say it like this. I'm running 10 2k counters in this deck, and I feel like that was a solid number. That one game I was flooded on 2k counters. That won't happen very often, but you get the point. Like, these cards, though, remember, you can recycle them back with your Rebecca. So I think you should choose 10 2k counters between these 3, like Suru, Khalifa, and Kaku, and just make it however you want out of them, right? Like, have like 4 of this, 3 of that, and 3 of that, however you want to do it, or 4, 2, and 2, 4, 4, and 2. Let me look at some others. One-Legged Toy Soldier is pretty good, but not really in what we're trying to do. I think it's a little... It's not as good as it is in Black-Green Perona. Let me say it like that. Black-Green Perona moves at a different speed almost, and this card is extremely good in that deck. Bartolomeo is always a nice 2k counter to have as a utility card if you want to try something else. Perona is nice because it makes them trash cards from hand. But one thing you do have to remember, one thing you do have to be super careful of, is cards like Kaku, both of them, the 2 different Kakus in the deck, and the cards like Spandine. These are going off of CP-type cards that they have to return from the trash to your deck. So you have to be very, very careful at the ratio of CP cards in your deck versus everything else. And that's why I prefer to have the 4 and 4 of these. Because if I ever need to combo Spandine with Rebecca to get back a Rob Lucci, I have to return 3 CP cards and then 3 cards of whatever else. Or if I have to combo these 2 cards Kaku here, I have to get... 2 CP cards here and 2 here, so that's 4 CP cards I have to return to the bottom of my deck. I can't use like a Navy card with that interaction, or the Straw Hat, or this Thriller Bark. You know, I have to choose specifically CP cards, so that's why I'm a little heavier on the CP counters. What else? This card would be kind of cool to mess with. This is one where it gives one of your Rob Lucci's plus 2,000 power for the turn, so that should work for your leader as well. Someone correct me if I'm wrong about that. I don't like this card, to be honest. I think it's cool. The picture's awesome. This guy, Hattori, like this sick, absolutely the most dapper bird you'll ever see, right? But that's not really what we need in this deck. We need the cards to have a little more utility that like help us control the board, I feel like. Because once you lose control of the board, it does feel bad. And that's where I would like to go up, you know, I would like to try to fit in the Dressrosa guy. Where is he? Or it's probably Revolutionary Army, excuse me. It's Sabo. Okay, this one's not Dressrosa. This one's only Revo Army, whereas this one's Revo Army and Dressrosa. But this card is what I'd like to fit into the deck next. Maybe go down a single Indies lobby. Ugh, That feels so bad. Maybe I will try to go down like one Innie's Lobby at first and fit in one of these. But I have to say, guys, what you see on the screen here was working out for me. I always felt like I had answers. Didn't go against any red-purple laws. It is what it is. We already know that's a tough matchup. You know, just expect that. I just recently looked at a list from the East. You know, just a random YouTuber. I think he had like 2,000 subs or something from over in the East, and he had Black Yellow Luffy and Red Purple Law listed as S tier as of lately, and then in A tier, or he had it as tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1, he only had Red Purple Law and Black Yellow Luffy, and then tier 2 he had Lucci, Gecko Moria, and like the rest of them, like Bonnie and like all the Enel, the cards we normally talk about. I will link that down in the comment section below for those who are interested in checking out that video, because that was a pretty informative, interesting video from the East. And it's nice to have that because, for those who are not aware, they have not had a single major tournament from the East. Period. And I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to. I do not think they're going to have had a single major tournament from the East, or maybe they'll have one on the last week or something going into OP08. Strange. I don't get it. It is what it is. But hey, you know, we're at least still getting to see the decks that are winning over there, you know, on OnePieceTopDecks.com and all that stuff. We're still seeing what's doing well, and if you follow any of the content creators from the East, you'll be able to check it out on there. Okay, what else? Let me talk about a few more things before we end this off here. Getting close to an hour. We do got to wrap up soon. I think we were seeing some decks run Sakazuki. And maybe there is a version of the deck you can run that runs Navy, where you can throw in like a Kuzan or two, throw in a Sakazuki or two, and then since you're already running Navy, you might as well run the Ishos and run the brand news. There is an argument for that, and Borsellino, of course, and then you could go up to 4 Surus because you'd have more of a reason to search for them. There's definitely an idea there, and it was working, I think, in the beginning, but I think what we're seeing here is like what they're trending towards. Again, adding the 8-cost Sabo. Like I said, I'll probably take down like maybe one Innie's Lobby and go up 1 Sabo. And that's kind of, or maybe that's what, maybe I'll go up 2 Sabos and 1 Stussy. I'll go down to 1 Stussy. So take out 1 Innie's Lobby, 1 Stussy, go up 2 of the 8-cost Sabo. That might be what I do in the very near future here. I like that Brook can play around the cards that cannot be KO'd, but I don't, you know, you have to be so careful, like I said, with the ratios on these cards. If you start getting too many, if you start getting rid of too many of your CP cards, you start messing up your potential with Kaku here, or with the other one, or with Spandine, and cards like that. I think it gets a little too dangerous. But I think this card is very good, and if you don't like this one, if you want to carve the counter, this one is also very, very good as well. The nice thing about Brook is Brook has like a twofold purpose in the deck. Number one, trashing, getting around cards that cannot be KO'd. But also, that second part, your opponent puts 3 cards from their trash to the bottom of their deck in any order. Well, Nami is becoming a pretty decent deck in the format in OP07. Just so you guys are aware, let me get back to that 300-player tournament we were looking at. Oops, where it's right here. Okay, let me go back. If you go to OnePieceTopDecks.com, go to the deck list, look at their top, you know, their very first option here for OP08. And if you look at this 300-player tournament right here that I just highlighted a bunch of, look at this, guys. In the top 8, there were 2 Nami lists. And it just so happens, you know, that these 2 decks were able to get past them somehow, or maybe they dodged them. But one thing to consider is that this card, where did it go? This card, Brook, this can actually play around the Nami. Like, it can kind of help shut down Nami. It'll force them into, you know, you're putting 3 more cards at the bottom of their deck. That's 3 more cards they have to draw through. Does that make sense? And you're establishing a 6-cost 6K. It's very nice. It's very hard for them to deal with that if you're playing correctly. Okay, I think that's about it, guys. If you guys got any comments, questions, suggestions, please do not hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. I didn't talk much about Ice Age, but that is a great card to include, even though I'm not running it. But I feel like if you're running the stage version, it's not quite as necessary. I don't think Ice Age is as necessary, but maybe take down a stage and go up 1 Ice Age. That's something you can mess with in the future. But really, that's about it. And like I said, if I miss anything, guys, y'all help me out in the comment section below and tell me. So let me go ahead and go over to the patrons. Big shout out to all my patrons. Thank you to everyone who watches my content, who likes it, shares it, comments, subscribes, all that. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And again, big shout out to these guys, my patrons, who help me out in what ways they can. And thank you guys who help me out in whatever way you can. All right, I'm done rambling. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.